Okay, here we go. Game 4. So, this is going to be Liiv Sandbox versus T1. There's a lot of interesting things on the side of Liiv Sandbox. 4 key points for them in between spring and summer. Seraph, the Seraph, no, you're hearing that correctly, Seraph, and a superstar himself has joined the team. He's not playing this game, though. Winter joined from their academy, who he goes by Winthor now. As you can see, he's playing in the mid lane. Ice is rejoining. As you can see, he's also starting for ADC. He got some playtime in the LCK. He had that one Samira pentakill. He had some good Aphelios performances, so hopefully that puts some confidence in him now that he is back in a challenger environment. And 10-10 is now a jungler. He's not playing this game, though. But 9-man, 10-man rosters are always 100% going to be total clown fiesta. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one goes. Meanwhile, for T1, no changes there. So this will be interesting. This is we don't know what's gonna happen just because of all the changes that have been done with Sandbox. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Oh, hold on, that something is wrong with. Is it better now? Yeah, that's better. Okay. So we see Lucian, Azir, Talia, Olaf, LeBlanc. And Gangplank. I thought we'd see Gwen first pick. Instead, we see Ahri. So maybe Gwen red side? Maybe Gwen Viego. You can get the 2 big strong picks that are the flavor of the month and have been for a while. Kalista is also solid. Wukong is also solid. But I think now Liiv Sandbox are just going to pick, yep, the 2 picks that maybe T1 should have considered. But, you know. Maybe they have plans. Maybe they don't want the Gwen and the Viego. We'll have to see what they respond with. Renata being picked up. I'm not sure. Renata Kalista is good because Renata is good with Kalista, but Kalista ult is not the greatest with Renata. You could always put it on Wukong, and then you can just throw in a Wukong for him to ult. So we'll see who she links to. Sandra Van, Saya Van. Liiv Sandbox really won a winning matchup mid. Jesus. 3 mid bans. On the other side, 3 ADC bans for T1. They want a winning matchup bot side. Jack's picked up. Or Jack's banned away, I should say. And then the Victor gets picked up. I like T1's team fighting. Ronaldo, Wukong, Victor, all solid. And solid counter engage on the side of Liiv Sandbox. Oh, well, not as much. Well, still, Lulu is good counter engage. Solid counter engage on the side of Liiv Sandbox. What are they going to end this draft with? Is that a Lily at top? Let's find out. It is a Lily at top. Let me look at runes. Players rune. Why don't say player runes instead of players rune? Why not runes plural? Anyway. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Press the attack on Aphelios is interesting. I know that's a preference for a lot of players, though. Everything else seems pretty standard. Airy over Guardian is interesting considering the amount of dive that they have. I would have maybe preferred Guardian on the Renata, but you do have to have some poke for the Lulu because if she plays aggressive and pokey, it's very annoying, and you want to have something to respond with, I guess. But still, I feel like I still would have preferred Guardian. I don't understand the mindset of picking your runes for lane versus picking your runes for game, especially in a competitive environment where it's very rare for the game to be completely decided in lane. As we saw last game, Nongshim had giant control over the early game, but it didn't matter because uh they just they got outdamaged in the team fight so heavily. Yeah, if you look at the CS and topside, you can already tell why people love playing this matchup. The Lilia into the Quinn, you can just bully Quinn so hard because you're like the perfect mix of being melee enough to trade well with her and having enough range and mobility to be a total pain in the ass. It's really nice. It feels really nice playing Lilia and Nigwin. It is very rude though. I uh I disapprove of Lilia top. If you play Lilia top, someone probably hurt you as a child, and I'm sorry that they hurt you, but don't hurt others because someone hurt you. In this environment though, I understand. You have to win the game. It's competitive. All I'm saying is if you're picking Lilia top, my normal games are gonna have a problem. I actually play in houses with this group, and we have a house rule that ranged and mage tops aren't allowed. There's a few exceptions, like Mordekaiser is one of the exceptions, but I wouldn't really consider him a mage. He just does magic damage. Normally this wouldn't be a risky call. They have the priority where they need it. Not as much in bot lane, but it's enough to not have to entirely worry. But even though this isn't a bad call, they I mean, even though this is a good call, that T1 still decide to play into them. Like they have priority. They have people, but Forest, for some reason, still decides to go in. But it doesn't entirely matter because Lulu got the kill. And then T1 are their return kills are one on Victor, one on Callista. So I mean that I'd take that any day. So it could have been a good. So like at first it was a good play by Sandbox, and then it was a bad play for T1, and then it was a good play for T1. Maybe Wukong should have waited and could have not died potentially, or delayed his death. But like just walking in and trying to smite steal by himself was interesting, especially because polymorph just makes it harder. Polymorph slow. Polymorph and then the slow, I should say, not the slow of the polymorph, which I don't think really exists beyond just the polymorph movement speed. Actually, do you even lose movement speed in polymorph? I don't think you do. No, actually, I think you do because I think I've been running at people as Rammus and then I get polymorphed, and then all of a sudden, well, that's just removing the ball speed though. It's not removing base speed necessarily. I don't know. This is something I can test. Man, I was kind of hoping Seraph would play this game. I would have loved to see some Seraph. Man, this Gwen is now actually starting to trade back some damage. Nice. Oh, unfortunate that the stun could not land there. Would have been a big gank if Hambach would have landed that stun. Mm. Hextech Dragon in 30 seconds. Forest is probably going to look to put a deep ward. Oh, look at this. Reads this perfectly. I don't know if he knew that Ari was going to come, but I think he knew that he wanted to put a control ward there since Baron was coming up. And he goes there, knows that Ari's walking over, picks up the... Did he? I'm just trying to realize something. Never mind. So yeah, thanks for that pick. That dragon's free. They also get Isis, Flash, and Heal. They're getting jumped on though, which is a problem, but they have to back off, and now Dragon should go to them again. So yeah, they get the nice pick there. Able to make a dragon play out of that. Look how fast the Lilia is. It's so hard for Gwen to trade with that champion. It's hard for anybody really to trade with Gwen. I mean, with Lilia. But still, Meaning's playing the matchup as well as he can. Meanwhile, Callista's having a good time bot lane as well. Trigger is a player I've always been interested in. I've heard he's a bit interesting in person, but he's a solid player, and people that play with him enjoy playing with him, from what I've heard. He's also an insane ADC. He's really good. He had Road as a support at one point, which was like just that was the cheater bot lane of challengers. But he stopped playing for a while, and now he's back to playing again. Good to see. Hopefully he gets back in the good form he was in. Had a decent spring split. At least from what I saw. Decent enough. Um it's just farming time, I guess. Nothing really interesting as far as builds go. Actually, Leandries is a little interesting. I would have maybe preferred Ludens over the Leandry since there's not a whole lot of HP. Well, actually, no, I forgot. People go Bruiser or Tank Viego, so it is a good buy, I suppose. There's gonna be 3 people building HP on their team. Leandries is good here. My apologies for my mild amount of tomfoolery, but hey, Infernal Dragon going over to T1. Oh my goodness. Yeah, while you were chasing that Lilia, your topside's gone, by the way. Yeah, T1 are just playing this really slowly. The signature methodical T1 play. Except in this time it's the Challenger edition. Hmm. Kabi using ult there. Kind of big. Maybe they can do something with it. No, nah, actually they can't. Oh, maybe they're fighting here. Just fighting over Grump. And now they're going Baron. Oh, interesting. Okay. So they're just gonna send it Baron. Photon is TP. Has some good TP spots too. It looks like they're just using Baron to try to encourage them to fight. Come on, Winthor. Okay, never mind. Nothing's happening. We're going back to full speed. Or I guess the times 2 speed, which is my definition of full speed. But nonetheless, I mean, it's not really much to talk about. It's not a lot has happened really. It's just the signature style of we have this small lead, we're going to hold on to it, and it's going to slowly get bigger, and just slowly choking the life out. And that's the tail on one side. For the other, it's trying to find a way back in. Is that referee just turned around? Oh no, they're watching. Never mind. They have like a circular setup, so they're watching people on either side. I was confused as to what the referee setup was there. That was weird. But now Dragon's up. It does not look like Sandbox is in a position to contest this, and they just have to hand it. There's nothing they can do to take it. Looks like they want to try to get priority on this Baron, but they're just gonna reset now. Red buff is taken. Calista has core items now. Yeah, it's not looking good for Sandbox. They're just getting choked out slowly. They're gonna fight over this blue buff. They're gonna try to find a pick over it as well. It's Aphelios Flamethrower ult, only gonna hit one, since Trigger used ult to save his support, who's gonna run away. So could have been worse if you're T1. So I think they're just gonna take that one pick and run with it. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're gonna look for any fights here. Okay. Sol and D in a rough spot, but they were both in rough spots there. Meanwhile, Forrest running for his life. I don't think they're gonna fight. Yeah, they're gonna look to reset and then walk towards this dragon, I think. Did he take that? Cheeky. Look at this Callista. She's so strong right now. Has the core items as a BF. Oh, that was a big opportunity. Just walked right into him. Right into the Viego and walked away. They're gonna run right for this Baron and start it. Okay, so Liiv Sandbox are just sending it. They are deciding that they now want to coin flip the game. Ultimate thrown out. That is a good ultimate from Renata. Oh, look how low everybody is. It's Trigger die. Trigger doesn't die there. So it's gonna have a stalemate fight. Oh, wrong button. Let's look at the replay actually. So yeah, meaning is able. I'm not sure if they actually avoided the Renata ult. I'll have to see. They did. So they avoided the Renata ult, and they were able to attract people here, but they can't do enough. They did not get the usual lane advantage that Gwen is used to having. And so they aren't able to do as much as Gwen maybe is normally able to do. Meanwhile, on the backside, I mean, Trigger just didn't really have any areas to pop off, really, so their damage output wasn't too high. And it was really just like a kind of like a 4v1 on two fronts, in a sense, kind of. Everybody went on here, and then Forrest got left behind over here. So, nothing too significant. But T1 do get the Infernal Soul, so they definitely come out on top in that scenario. Trigger's melting that Baron down. They're going to be able to get this. When Thor goes in, and let me slow this down. Oh, wrong button again. So yeah, there's just they aren't able to get to the Baron quickly enough, so they're trying to fight to make up for it, but it just feels forced. There's really no reason to fight them here. And look at that triple sleep from Lilia. The game's over from here. Possibly even in a literal sense, they might just be able to end off of this. Maybe not. Actually, that's a. Oh, no, actually, no, they do have top wave. Phyllis does get two though, so maybe not. They get one tower. They get the other. Oh no, maybe they do get the. Yeah, all right, they do. So I mean, that's just signature T1 gameplay, whether it's their main team or their challenger team. It's just slow, methodical gameplay. I think the parent call from Sandbox there was. What was that? The 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 Baron call from Sandbox there was so weird. Not here. Where was it? It was here. Oh, it felt really weird. It didn't cost them anything, but it was just a weird call, and it's not the only weird call they made. It's just weird that they chose to be like, look at this. It's 2 kills in 27 minutes. They were so inactive, and no dragons. They were so inactive for the entire game, and then just randomly decided to go and try to coin flip. It's just weird decisions from Sandbox the entire game. I don't know.